You're listening to the Talking Wolves fans' reactions for the 24-25 Premier League season.
Pretty happy with that overall. I know we lost. It's finished Liverpool 2, Wolves 1 at Anfield today. But I'm really, really pleased with the performance that we saw this afternoon. I think there's a lot that we can be proud of and a lot that we can build on going forward. I won't run you through the whole game because most people would have watched it, but I think that first half was as bad as I've seen a referee for a good couple of years. It wasn't especially big decisions. It wasn't red cards. Well, that's it. It wasn't red cards. It was the fouls that I think that were getting Wolves fans irate, including myself. As the minutes went on, it just got worse and worse and worse. Liverpool could have had 4 or 5 bookings within the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. Canate should have been sent off, in my opinion. But when it's Anfield, Liverpool at Anfield, they're always going to get those decisions. And Simon Hooper can hopefully look back at that first half and think, that did not look good on my half. And yeah, I think after the Liverpool-Everton game, where they got shafted a bit, in fairness, they've got to try and get one back for Liverpool in that sense. So it's not corrupt, it's just blatant incompetence. Penalty, tough one really. I think Sarr's silly to challenge Diaz there because Diaz was going absolutely nowhere. But admittedly, Agbadou should have controlled it. But would he have controlled it if he hadn't been pushed in the back beforehand? So it's a hard one to work out. But yeah, really, really happy. The first half, we kind of kept ourselves in the game. Aside from the goals, it's hard to come back from 2 goals. Everyone knows that. But second half was as good as I've seen us all season. Really, really spirited, really positive, tenacious in the midfield, wanting to win the ball back, wanting to get a result. And a couple of spurned opportunities on our end that it could have been a completely different game had we put the ball in the net. I think Kunu's goal again shows his class, absolutely brilliant. But the Menezzi going through and he stuck it right down Alisson's throat. It's like little things like that we need to work on. And I know he's new to the club. I'm sure things like that will improve. But we missed Strand Larsen, I think, today. We missed a kind of a focal point because I thought Guedes was kind of man-marked out the game. He couldn't get a sniff against Canate and Van Dijk. And it's tough up there on your own, really. Sarabia was a non-event. In big games like that, where you're not touching the ball as often, he's not big enough, he's not strong enough, he's not good enough in the tackle. And I think as soon as Bellegarde came on, again, I don't know, he's a man reborn at the moment. I think that's just because we're playing him in the position that we signed him for. So, yeah, he's looked really good. But as soon as he came on, the game changed for us and we, limited Liverpool massively for chances in the second half. I don't think they got a shot on target in the second half, which is really, really positive for a team, excuse me, that are, battling relegation against the best side in the country. To limit them to not one shot on target in the second half is really, really positive. So, yeah, like I said, lots to work on. Disgraceful refereeing performance in the first half. Cheated wouldn't be an understatement, but it is what it is, as they say, and we will move on. Good performance to build on, and we'll see how we fare in the upcoming game weeks. There's a few games coming up that we can really, really get some points from, see if we can generate a gap between us and that bottom 3. So I'll catch you soon. Cheers.
Well, we finished Liverpool 2, Wolves 1. Frustrating but encouraging, I think is how I would describe that. Frustrating because we really could and perhaps should have got more out of that one. I mean, restricting Liverpool to no shots in the whole of the second half and having a few chances ourselves. I mean, Kuna with a brilliant goal to bring it back to 2-1. I didn't think he had his best game today, actually. He gave the ball away quite a few times, but you can't argue when he rolls one onto his left foot and whips it into the bottom corner like that. So absolutely incredible finish, and as we've seen him do many times this season. But I think first half, we just gave him a bit too much respect. I think Pereira said the same post-game. We just seemed to just stand off them a bit, almost be a bit in awe of oh my God, it's Liverpool, let's just try and sit deep. And it didn't really work, to be honest. I mean, we weren't terrible first half by any stretch, and probably a little bit unlucky to be 2-0 down. I mean, second goal in particular, there is a push on Agbadou, but he's got to do better. He's got to just clear that, and I think the first one was just unlucky. I mean, Doherty gets absolutely done by Jota in the middle of the park, dives in and he just rolls him, as we've seen Jota do many times before, both in a Wolves and a Liverpool shirt. But poor, really, a bit naive really from Doherty, which you wouldn't expect with a player of his experience, but just dives in, gets done. And after that, Totti's just tried to stick his foot out, and unfortunately it's looped over everybody into Diaz's path, who just tucks it away. But yeah, second goal, I think really avoidable. He's just got to put his foot through it. I mean, I know he gets a shove in the back, but he's got to just put his foot through it. He's either got to go absolutely flying and give the referee a decision to make and give the free kick, or he's just got to put his foot through it. And in the end, he did neither. And Diaz runs through, and Sarr, no fault, a portion to him from me, but just clatters Diaz, and it's a penalty. So, yeah, disappointing really to go in at 2-0 down, and at 2-0 you did think it's all over really, but changes in the second half made a big difference. I thought Bellegarde played well, came in on the wing, which isn't his best position. He's better in that central midfield for me. But again, I thought he had a good game, added a bit of pace, a bit of drive, and a bit of sort of directness really into that second half. Manitz, as I think his name is, I might have got that completely wrong, but the new lad who seemed to come on up front again. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm not sold yet, if I'm honest. And the reason I say that is because he gets in good position after good position after good position, and just looks like he can't finish. He really just looks like he doesn't know where the back of the net is. And yeah, maybe he's adapting. Don't get me wrong. He's had 2 substitute appearances, so I'm probably being a bit harsh. But at the chances he had against Blackburn, and then the one-on-one he had today, you've got to be scoring at least one of those. But yeah, just no real confidence that he's going to score at all. But like I say, much better second half. We were the better team by an absolute mile, and really should have got more than the 1 goal that we did ultimately get. But we can't keep conceding these sort of soft, avoidable goals if we want to try and get somewhere. But as I say, the reason it's encouraging is that's now 2 good performances in the league back to back, 3 back to back if you include the FA Cup, and yeah, things do seem to be looking up. I'm not sure how long Larsson's out for. Be good to get him back. Guedes awful today. Or I don't think he touched the ball really. Just him and Sarabia between the 2 of them. And to be fair, Kuna first half as well. That front 3, just nothing stuck. I didn't really get anywhere. Everything was over hit or under hit, and just didn't really string anything together. Which we did look better when the changes were made, but. Yeah, disappointing to not get at least a point today. But if we play like that, we'll be absolutely fine come the end of the season.
Liverpool 2, Wolves 1 at Anfield today. And an encouraging performance by Wolves, marred by refereeing controversy once again. Feels a bit like last season, this, doesn't it? Simon Hooper is a disgrace. The amount of decisions that went in the favour of Liverpool there was an absolute joke. And no, people always say, well, you can't blame a referee for your team losing a game. I actually think today we can, because Wolves were excellent, I thought, from basically the first minute. We were 2-0 down, and we just did not deserve to be 2-0 down. Yes, of course, Liverpool were very, very far off it from their usual high standards, but we were very decent, I thought. Passing, moving, creating things, more so in the second half rather than the first. But no team in the Premier League in the last 20 years has stopped Liverpool from having a single shot on goal in any half of a match, and Wolves under Vitor Pereira did that today, and that is scope for huge encouragement, absolutely huge encouragement. A brilliant performance going forward from Cunha, again, seems to be back to his best, 3 goals in 3 games now, and yeah, there was definitely encouraging signs there from Wolves. And just think, if Kwanzaa hadn't pulled out his first bit of good defending in the season to stop that Doyle ball across, Marshall Monetzi would have made it 2-2, and we'd be looking at a well-deserved point at Anfield. But Simon Hooper is a disgrace, by the way. The amount of yellow cards, how Liverpool and Wolves finished on the same amount of yellow cards in that match, is an absolute joke. Kanate should have been sent off for my money. It's a blatant second yellow tackle when you're already on a yellow. It's stupid by him, but God forbid Agbadu gets booked instead, because, it's Liverpool at Anfield. Jota, diving, cheat. We knew this from his time at Wolves, but that was a different level today. Why wasn't he getting booked for diving? Why wasn't Diaz getting booked for blatant diving when they were? Diaz pushes Agbadu, but I'd argue that is, you should be trying to be stronger, because I didn't think that in midweek, Kanate was fouled by Decore in the Liverpool match, so it'd be hypocritical of me to say that I think that was a foul. But then he just, trails his leg into Sa, who always gives away them penalties. We saw him 3 years ago, he gave away about 7 in one season. Wolves have to stop giving away penalties. They do it all the time. They've done it so much, and it's going to come back and bite them massively, because the penalty's a free shot goal, for God's sake. Honestly, in that scenario. But yeah, Wolves 2-0 down, and they didn't deserve to be. They were playing well, they were putting pressure on Liverpool, and they were creating chances, and that's the best you can hope for. But it definitely offers encouragement, as long as Agbadou's injury that took him off isn't too bad. I think there's signs that we can get out of the mess we're in, and we are in a mess still. But, 19 points from 25 games. We're, 7 or 8 behind the team above us. It's a 3-team mini-league until the end of the season for 19th and 18th. And here's hoping that Wolves, if they continue to put in performances like they did today, I thought Totti was decent despite maybe being at fault for the first goal. Agbadou, very good again. Andre, I thought, had a decent game today as well in the middle of the pitch. And Cunha going forward is a different class. Sarabi and Guedes left a lot to be desired with their performances. We missed Rodri Gomez, I thought. And I'd love to have him to come on for the last 10 minutes of the game today. But unfortunately, he's out with a knock as well. But there's definitely encouraging signs. And that was definitely, for my money, Wolves' best performance at Anfield since they came back up to the Premier League in 2018, without a doubt. It's only the second goal we've scored there in the last 8 years. So, encouraging, but unfortunately no points. And people often say you can have the plaudits, we'll have the points, and that's what Liverpool got today. Undeservedly, in my opinion, but there is a reason why they're top of the league. Liverpool 2, Wolves 1.
It's finished Wolves 1, Liverpool 2 at Anfield. I think we deserve something out of that game today. I think they were nowhere near the Liverpool that we've seen all season. And I think we've done enough, especially second half, to get at least a point out of the game. I don't think they've had a shot on target all second half. I think they were lucky. I think the ref has been absolutely horrific today. One of the worst refereeing performances I've ever seen. How Konate's still on the pitch. He's blowing up fouls that are not fouls. He's been conned by the ref twice. No booking for Jota on the dive for their second penalty. And I just think we've huffed and puffed, but not done enough, unfortunately. I mean, it comes from us as well. Surely we've got to be looking at the first half and thinking the two shit goals that we've given away for them, really poor. I don't quite understand it. Totti flails a leg out and puts it into Diaz's path, and then the second one, which arguably possibly isn't a penalty either, but it is what it is. They're a good side, the top of the league. They didn't play like a top of the league side today, and I definitely think, especially during that second half, we deserve something out of the game. It hasn't come. We have to move on. We're still 2 points off the drop. We've got no chance of overtaking anybody else this season. So it is a fight between the bottom four, I'd say. Well, bottom three, with Leicester, Ipswich and us. It's tough. It's really tough. And unfortunately, we've only got ourselves to blame to be in this position, from poor ownership, poor management. In the first half of the season, players kind of not performing to their full potential, and we're paying the price for it now. We need to kind of see an upturn in results and quickly kind of get these tougher games out of the way and focus on the ones, especially at home, that we've got coming up in March and April. So, yeah, it's finished 2-1 to Liverpool today. Some good positives to take from it. Matheus Cunha's unbelievable. And some other good performances. Bellegarde and Netzi, I thought, did well when they come on. I thought the defence was pretty poor today. But we move on. We move on to, I think it's Bournemouth next week. Another tough away game that we've got. Hopefully we can get something there. So, got to keep believing, got to keep supporting as much as we can. And hopefully we get out of this fight that we're in. So, cheers for having me on, lads, as always. All the best, and I'll see you next week.
Frustrating game in the end for Wolves. It looked like it was just going to be a routine victory for Liverpool at half-time. And then we come away from the game actually quite frustrated. We haven't got a draw. A lot of positives to take from that second half. we had Liverpool on the back foot for the majority of the half. Liverpool didn't have any shots on goal in that second half. And considering they're top of the league, one of the best teams in Europe at the moment, that is, really encouraging from a Wolves perspective. In terms of the first half, a few refereeing decisions against us again that you could argue. Konate very lucky to stay on. I think that second foul when he's clashed heads, I think with Cunha, should be a second yellow and should be a red card. And also in the build-up to their penalty, I do think the push from Diaz on Agbadou is enough to put Agbadou off. So I don't think it should have been a penalty either. Having said that, I also think we were too passive. We didn't really offer anything. I cannot understand why players like Sarabia and Guedes to a certain extent continue to get picked, especially away from home, because they haven't got the skill set to play tough Premier League games away from home. So I'm glad they were withdrawn at half time. And then in the second half, I thought we did well. We applied ourselves well. There was some really good performances. Obviously, Cunha again, shining light, fantastic quality for that goal. And then it was just a case of just trying to, take advantage of the fact that Anfield was getting nervy. Liverpool were obviously getting nervy as they get closer to their, title, presumably. But we just couldn't make it count, which is really, really frustrating. But these aren't the games that will define our season. We need to continue playing how we have been in the last few weeks. And then it's the games against the teams around us in the coming months, really, that will determine our season. So some positives, frustrating in the end, but we move on to our next game.